I'm here today in the Philip Noel Baker Peace Garden in my constituency. This was opened in the 1980s by Bruce and others in memory of Philip Noel Baker, and Fenner Brockway was here as well. And this beautiful garden, which I'm in with a lot of friends this morning, is a peace garden, and the plaque in front of me is in memory of those that died in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And behind me is one of the cherry trees we planted in memory of those people that lost their lives at that time. This garden is maintained by volunteers and is improving all the time, and I'm very proud it's in my constituency. Today, we're commemorating those that died in 1945, when that first nuclear weapon was unleashed on the people of Hiroshima. It wasn't militarily necessary or morally right that it was used at that time. It unleashed a Cold War. It unleashed an arms race, which cost the world trillions of dollars, pounds, rubles, whatever, in developing yet greater weapons of mass destruction. And those weapons of mass destruction are still with us. In memory of those that died in 1945 and those that have died from nuclear testing ever since, and all the money that could have been spent on social causes that wasn't, because the world was obsessed with developing yet more nuclear weapons. Let's think very, very hard about what we can do. The issues facing the world today are obviously the corona crisis, which has taken the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and threatens the lives of many, many more. The world is threatened with an environmental disaster as global warming damages the polar ice caps, both north and south, and damages the natural world of people in between. The world is dominated by a refugee crisis of 65 million people with no home to call their own. And the world is in danger from random terrorist attacks as a result of the illegal wars that we fought. Surely, now, in 2020, let's think again about the kind of world we could have. And if we weren't spending all these resources on nuclear weapons, if we weren't building up the terror of nuclear weapons around the world, then the world would actually be a much safer place. In the 1960s, the world had the vision, at the height of the Cold War, of passing the Non-Proliferation Treaty into law. That nuclear non-proliferation treaty requires all member states that signed it not to develop or hold nuclear weapons, and all those that did have nuclear weapons at that time and still do, to take steps towards disarmament. This year, because of the corona crisis, the NPT review conference has been postponed to next year. And likewise, the review of Britain's strategic defence is also being undertaken, but again, is being delayed slightly because of coronavirus. Let's do two things. Let's contribute to that defence review, that strategic defence review in Britain, and look at a way that we can put the resources and the skills of those that currently make nuclear weapons into better use, but protect their jobs and their communities at the same time. And can we also make our contributions, the NPT review, which is that Britain would be a country that would take steps towards disarmament, not developing a new generation of nuclear weapons. There are reports that Britain is now lobbying the USA for yet another generation of nuclear weapons. Surely, if we've learned nothing over the past 6 months of the corona crisis, it is that the world needs resources to be dedicated towards the health needs of everybody. The world needs resources to be dedicated towards protecting our natural world and biodiversity. And the world needs resources to deal with the problems that people face. Nuclear weapons cannot protect us from corona, cannot save the environment, cannot even help the poor people of Beirut who are struggling through the mess of a terrible explosion a few days ago. In memory of those that lost their lives so needlessly in 1945, let's dedicate ourselves to peace for the future. Dedicate ourselves to the memory of those that lost their lives, and to build a world free of nuclear weapons, and a world where a park like this beautiful park, can be seen as something that in memory of those made its contribution to encouraging people to reflect on a better world that I believe is possible. And all on this call, all on this Zoom, all over the world, passionately believe it's possible. Raise your voices for peace. Raise your voices for the environment, for people, but not for war. Thank you very much.